Come on. Into the black light, exited the mass.
What's up, Blue?
You into the black light, exited the mass.
Shells.
You into the black light, exited the mass.
You
Into
mild.
the black light, exited the mass.
Yo, we back again. If you're throwing in the towel, then you're back in sin. We need the Holy Spirit, please let the chaplain in. Here at the front door, chilling with a childish grin. We can now begin. Now the truth be told, we're riding on the light to let the youth get old. And following the one that will soothe your soul and take your bad situation and improve your role to release your flow. It's a long stretch to loosen all the nooses from the baby's necks. And tell the young ladies they should save the sex. And tell the young guys not to break their neck for the place of sex, but get the paycheck. And real women really don't play that. A wise lesson learned really, really way back. I used to okay that. The Lord saved me, Jack, from a life of whack. Come on.
Into the black light, exited the mass.
Oh,
You into the black light, exited the mass. You into
yeah.
the black
You might want to start paying attention on this next verse.
You into the black light,
Give
exited
me your
the
attention
mass.
for a minute. Damn. Come on. We from the same cut, but play in different positions. A top secret message got the president attention. Do what you do, just make the good folk listen. And trust me, yo, it's not about who you kissing. There is a plan to see you chewed up and shit out. The devil's burning red from the fire that we spit out. We on to get up, to hell with that down low. Cherish the gift of the wisdom that we found, yo. Still on the mission with the daily agenda. Your head's been cloudy, so I doubt you do remember that I walk with the king of kings beside me. Just like the root in India, I read. I volunteer, no, the Lord didn't hire me. It is the spirit that inspired me. Water of life to show the chief where the fiery. We have no time for those that be acting grimy.
Yeah, I get it.
You see the light now? Boy, I've been talking to y'all for a while. You see, you thought this was for like some type of game. Man, revolution. Yeah. When you free your mind, your ass will follow. That's for real. And some of y'all locked up so bad, don't nobody have to put chains on you. Hell, you chain yourself down mentally, spiritually. Come on, free your mind, dude. You a king. Free your mind, chick, you a queen. Let me get something with some feel to it, some funk to it. Come on. I think I like that. Can we get some heavy drums in there? More like Caribbean, soul, Caribbean. Yeah. Yes, bounce to this. I'm just a black man, title, yo, give me that. I like them imports, never push the Cadillac. And would you figure, Mr. Man, while you're kicking back with sick plans to get you stacked, making chickens fat? You know you into that, chilling with your timber cat. Intoxicated to the point, past sinful acts. Be very nimble, Jack, but you'll get a water back. And have your heart broke just like a heart attack. Look where your power at, no, not the idle cats. It's deeper than tats and hurricanes and old maps. The spirit flows, so my folks throw daps. Meant for the wise as well as the poor rats. So you can fold up or you can
Fold up or you can fold back.
With God on your side, you can get your soul back. Yeah. We need some 3 parts on this mess up. My boys at chorus, come on, line up. Yo, we need y'all 3-part harmony on this. I don't know how you gonna work it out, but work it out. Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it, proud of the man, the game, the world, and lose the soul. Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it, proud of the man?
Man, the game, the world, and lose its soul.
You feel a certain doom. You might lose your hearing from the sonic boom. Out of the mouth is a sword, and I'm taking you out. You try to stop me, and I'm faking you out. Man, I wish I had an apprentice to build this work. Collaborate on synthesis, and I hope you remember this. Keep your enemy near to you. Far away, keep those that are dear to you. I hate beer, but I used to drink
Oh, they back.
heavily until the little habit turned deadly. I used to have a bud every day and all week. And
Trying to figure out where they working.
Where I couldn't hardly speak. So do the knowledge. That means hold your head. Let the past
I swept twice yesterday, once this AM, and you managed, after I shook that thing off, spread it around again.
Mike's handed, I'm speaking candid. Understand this is the way that the masses demanded. I have wisdom, but God planned it. General media bandit. I blow flows on beaches and make you wonder where the sand went. The Taliban spent more time in design to destroy cities. My rhymes inspire minds. I'm known as Big Papa, but I ain't your daddy yet. But I could be your bro if you could get the concept. There be many that stand whenever I rip, but it's devastation whenever I rip. I spit flows that hit.
Don't look away and don't close your eyes when I make contact. Don't you even try it. Sitting there like a little Buddha bliss. Look at this. Who's eye staring? We do that. It's good practice. I can see if something's there.
By the end of the night, how deep this music is. What is it, bro? Ancient tiny secret now.
Don't you close your eyes on me.
Did you not pay attention in your history class? Partner, wake up. Yes, sir. Partner, wake up. Yes, sir. Partner, wake up, son.
Don't look away.
There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. And that the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So take your position. Don't you know you are part of that scripture, yo? Yo, you've been getting in the way and let you knock you down. Yes, but we gon' bring the light, yeah. A Max Speed production, baby. You know what it is.
Don't look away.
I'm gonna tell you to fight back. There's no need to sell crack just to live back. Why don't black superstars simply
I was up doing the dance moves, you know, going back, reminiscing. No damn reminiscing. We made it up. We all do them. Either you can or you can't. So my little sis wants to buy a firearm for me. I can sell to her a firearm, but she's got to do a background check, and we got to go through. Well, this is no deal with this fake ass ATF or fake ass government. But this one is a little bill I did, but it's all serialized. So she has to be able to, she has to do the background check, and then the numbers have to be transferred to her. So I told her, yeah. So I told her I'm gonna sell her one. So I'm gonna, cause I got like 3 scars. So I'm gonna sell her. I can't show you. So I can't handle it. You know, it's against the guidelines. So, I'm going to sell her one of my SAR USAs, which is an old Israeli form of gun, supposedly, but
it's like we died inside.
2 mags.
We're still for rides, a new skill to hide.
I think she'll enjoy it. So I just let her know I'll see her tomorrow, and I'll go over to Chad's. That's why I came to go. Said I was gonna come on and something read, and then I'm going to talk. Well, I can actually call him and I'll ask him. That way it can be done. You know what I'm saying? Through a FFL, but by way of me. So they would do consignment. I'm not doing consignment. They're not getting nothing. I'm just selling my firearm, but I'm selling it at a price that I require, you know, based on the care and everything like that. I will see. Or I'll just get them, because we don't need to have that goofy card or whatever, CCW and all that. I like to have it for traveling purposes, just so that, you know, you got people who are in costume, don't know laws or anything. So I prefer to have that, and I would prefer them to get one of the classes on one of the weekends, so that way it's easier, you know. This one I cleaned out the kitty box, right? Never has to go to the bathroom. So I can't have kitty litter. I go and wash some dishes. I turn around, go outside, come in. I give a little 30-minute walk on today. I didn't run or anything.
Yeah.
And he done blew that thing up, man. Cat, dog, I opened the windows and everything. I was like, and he's covered it. All right. So he's getting a break from his little treats. And it's all right because it's nothing but, it's this food. You got to make sure that you feed him appropriately. You can't just overfeed a cat like you can't overfeed a dog. But yeah, it was crazy, you know? So yeah, I'm going to sell one of those. That's it. Nothing else. I'm tired. I need a good nap. The sun feels beautiful. It's perfect weather. It's like that summer breeze, springtime, cool, sun's beaming. I need to go out there, pull my chair out, take my shirt off, and just doze off for like 20 minutes in the back under the sun. Just, you know, we got a little wall, like ganja them though, like a little wall. I'll go sit right there in the sun. Let the sun eat me up. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just read on. And you need cardboard, bro. He's on it, laying on it now, sleep. But he's gonna dig, and he's gonna track it all around the place. But I'm not gonna stop giving him those little tarot cardboards. Otherwise, he'll be digging on everything else. I didn't declaw him. I find that inhumane. I just don't find it right, you know. Let's go ahead and get it in, man. Who's all up in here? Hey, Delusions. Yeah, that was a good video, man. I went back and watched that cannibal. Yo, that's what's up. What's going on, Marcus? What's happening, beloved? Omac, what's cracking? Charles Johnson, what's happening, beloved? What's going on? So I said, let me come on so I get to read on, you know what I'm saying? It's good to see people want to speak. Well, text, which illuminates to speak. Yeah. Oh, so I was showing y'all the balsa. I built balsa models, and where I lived at when I was growing up, we had balsam trees everywhere, balsa trees and balsam trees. And my great grandmother used to always go down when we were down south and we get a scratch or something. We played real hard. We didn't have no nurses and doctors and broken fingers. They set them and put splints and put this green and leaves and stuff and made you chew this concoction and drink or chew these 3 different leaves or something, and then they boil stuff and they put your hand in cold water and you know your bones healed up stronger than a mug, you know, in very short time, you know. But balsam trees, we used to go to it, and I was the Eagle. Y'all know I was a Weeblo, Cub Scout, Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, and it was always known you go to balsam tree and those little bubbles you see, it's nothing but sap. You take that, pop that, and you make sure it's not the colors. It's a little amber. All right, you take that, it's the right resin, and you put it on the cut. Well, good, be a good nasty cut, and then you get the osnia is the dead man beard. You know, like you see on. I remember I told you I was assisting as a assistant curator. It was free for the 283 or 89 gopherwood trees still left that they didn't chop down. These Luciferians, well, these Satanists, they ain't Lucifer, these Satanists. I'm like, when I tell you, stop paying attention to the name. If you think there's one Lucifer, you're a friggin' idiot. That'll be part of the story I need to tell you. And a lot of you can't figure out nothing because you won't allow yourselves to open up and become who you're supposed to be, and you exist as what they made. But anyway, those little ferns were called deadman beard. It's a usnea. It's like a fern that hangs, but it's like the extra growth. And you take that. If the cut is real bad and you put it in there, it's the natural Band-Aid. Now, it's not the term that was utilized, but that's part of our traditional ways. See, I don't like when people start coming talking about this and that, and they go, okay, well, you got a shovel head, and you got shovel teeth, and what does that have anything to do with anything? They tried to say that our people didn't have beards. It was well known that the indigenous world over grew beards. From Fiji, Hawaii, everywhere. Caribs, Cuba, we grew beards. Australia, everywhere. They say Australians. I said, I know quite a few Australians that had beards. Now, some, it's a genome thing. Didn't grow them. But there are those who did. So, you know, That's like the book that I got when I used to hang at the Brown Derby in Canada. And in Canada, not Alaska, in Canada, the Brown Derby. Kind of like a hit place, you know, reggae music and stuff like that. And I went to a bookstore there, and surprisingly in 87, the bookstore still had actual books. And that's why I'm surprised that these little youngins running around, these little people who came to conquer the land, are a remnant of those who remember the land, but weren't originally from here, regardless of everybody maybe coming from here, being the old world. But the breakup, we're talking about Atlantis, the fall. We're talking about the success in the fall, not authentic to this land, authentic to the other lands that were founded by them, from the 3 tribes that broke up. That's just the way it is. And that's a fact. And I found 3 books talking about the true Inuits. And they were dark as midnight. But now all of a sudden we got this whitewashing, like it just only applied to people. The narrative is not concerning no more. It's a perversion, and I'm not here to free them from it. And if that's where they're stuck at and they can't accept, and they got to accept it where it is, then so be it. Let them be the fools to the very people who wants to destroy the majority of them. You dig what I'm saying? Yo, it's Lone Wolf. What's up, beloved? What's cracking? Scott, what's happening? Max B. Yeah, I was already playing you. You missed out, beloved. What's happening? Unless you was in here. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the reading because I want to run over to see somebody. Come back. Go out there with my little beach chair. Shirt off. Put my sweatpants up. I put some shorts on. And just suck up as much sun as I can while it's going to be up for a little while. So we're going to get right into exposing expositions 1851, 1915. This is Howdy Mikowski's revised 2021 from his 2019 version. You know, that's Court of Chilagua, the Court of Honors, Chilagua. Okay? And y'all can pull it up on the net. And again, you see the eagle and the ball. What does the ball really represent? And what does the eagle represent? Phoenix? What does the phoenix represent? By the narrative, it's the in between the dragon and the eagle. Nobody will say that. They'll tell you a whole lot of whoopla hobla because of Marvel comics and everything else. And now you know what they're talking about. Light, bearer, gifts, like an Easter egg, Esther, Easter. It's a whole lot to it, man. There's a whole lot of words and stuff. So if you know, you know. So let's get into it. This might be one of the most shocking pieces of photographic evidence out there. Please follow the links and look closely at all 7 of the images, which turn out to be in very high quality. So you can go back and look at those pictures I showed you yesterday, the Pantheon, which was surprising. When you think about San Francisco, this place was humongous. Oh, they couldn't wait to blow that up. Marble, concrete, geothermal, stone, all that. Okay? 7 of the images, which turn out to be in very high quality. What you are looking at is a panorama of San Francisco claimed to have been taken in 1878 by Edward Muybridge. Now, the same man who later gave a moving picture display at the 1893 Chicago Exposition. Look at the size of the city. There might be 500,000 people there, with buildings over 500, up to 500,000, with buildings containing huge towers, domes, facades, beautiful architecture, and a cathedral that would fit into central Moscow. Can that really be built with all the ornate finish of the roofs and column mansions after having started with a city of just miners and cowboys in less than 30 years? I don't think so. And neither does my building contractor friend. The amount of manpower and machine power needed would be enormous unless, A, they had technology that they were not supposed to have, or B, much of that city was already built long ago. As I previously mentioned, the gold rush may have been a fabricated story to get people to move quickly from east to west to start filling up these mostly empty cities they had just found in California. All the new arrivals were told the city was just built. This panorama is actually very destructive evidence to the standard historical narrative. Now, y'all can go and pull it up, and I'm going to say it right now. Some of you are very good at the Google switches. I want you to go ahead and pull up San Francisco panorama of 1878 by Edward, and that's E-A-D, as Ead, W-A-R-D, all right, my bridge. And when we say my bridge, it's like without I, but muy, or my, M-U-Y. You know, you can spell some things like M-Y, M-U-Y, M-I, M-E-I, M-I-E, my. M-U-I-B-R-I-D-G, E, my bridge. Pull it up, Edward My Bridge, and take a look at them for yourselves. These are real pictures, 1878. Okay? Don't be lazy. Thank you. There is more strangeness in the panorama. No construction work of any kind is going on. And when you look at it, you will see. It's not to convince you. You'll see for yourself. Everything everywhere is finished. No one even has a scaffold out doing finish up painting. This is supposed to be a need to be buildings. Well, this is supposed to be, a booming city with thousands moving there every day. Would there be a need to be building something somewhere? Even more spooky is that there are no people, no horses, no nothing. Okay, maybe 50 horses and 100 people. The clock tower shows 12:30. I got to do this. The clock tower showed 12:30. Man in the band, and enter my friend. Have my homeboy help me. We're singing his jams while I'm looking at this stuff. I hope y'all patient. Where is it at here? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? I could highlight this with the pen, but I can't find the pen to this no war. I don't know what I did with it. It's upstairs. I just don't feel like digging around for it. And this one might have played with it, so it is what it is. Okay. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Well, I read it to y'all before, and so if I don't pull it up here, not expeditiously, but somewhat quickly, let me see if it's over here. I think it was back over here. I could have just pulled out the book and just went right to it, but I got my tablet right here. Oh my goodness. The airship, blimp, yeah, folding chair, I know. And that's why I'm going to go out here half butt naked and enjoy it. Cellular phone, pressing comb, curtain rod, lawn sprinkler. These Native Americans these fake natives want to run their mouths at me. That's why many of them respect me who are around here, and I'm by my damn self. I'm not never by myself, if you get what I mean. Y'all haven't figured that out yet. But hey, y'all are great thinkers. You know everything. Anyway, you remember the inventor of the clock, and I said Big Ben in England, and the big clock that was here. So who built the city? Who built these grand buildings? That's all. I can pull it up. There's 5 of them there, about 5 pages with over 3,000 inventions. Easily. That's more than that. Okay, so the clock tower shows 12:30, so it is midday. Where are all the people? The standard explanation is that early cameras had to take 10-minute exposures, so the photographer kept people out of photos. Really? They could keep 200,000 people and 50,000 horses out of a photo for 10 minutes? There would have to be and that's a lie too. Those quick pictures were just as quick as they are today, almost. There would have to be a much blurring in of the photos from people and horses moving around. But there is no blurring. Let's be clear. There are almost no people in this city when this panorama was taken. We see these similar city photos all over the world during this time period, 1860 to 1880. And you know what was going on. A major war on many different fronts and lands. A complete city mopping up, and the one that was here with another 5, almost 6 years ago. A complete city with no work being done and no people to be found anywhere. More challenging, look closely. There are no horse hitches. The posts you need to tie your horse up to, that it won't run away. How did the 50,000 horses stay put? Day after day with nothing to ever tie them to that every other town or city in the West would have had, that post. I think we're looking at a city at the edge of being taken over, from found dead, discovered. This might be a photo the day the resettlement began, not some 30 years after being founded by some cowboys and miners. Cowboys are made up narrative because it belongs only to us up until the 1920s. drawing, we have a Portsmouth Square. The 1850 drawing we have of Portsmouth Square indicates that San Francisco is not what was normally presented at this period. What were historians doing during this frame? Why was no one reporting it? So when you look at the 1894 San Francisco Fair, the mechanical building and tower, which would be dynamited in 1896, dynamited, all of that. What white people want to destroy and blow up something so magnificent and wonderful of their old world if they've always been here? And how come the Native Americans never knew about none of it? But we did. My family talked about my listen, my uncle would be like, man, we had great buildings. They just destroyed everything. Walking around, like Snoop stated, me walking around in Lackawanna looking at all the world saying, this is old stuff. Our ancestors built this stuff. And Pecker was be sitting there, them old ones with the white hair look at us and be like, get away from here, boy. More fake Jews, get away from here. You ain't getting nowhere. I was like, what? I ain't going nowhere. Mr. Old Crawley's drink that vodka, break handcuffs, big old strong like a bull would come down. They would run. He cleared out the municipal building when they changed it. He whooped every cop in and tore the whole place up. My father did the same thing. So they chimed down. They were old and they realized, okay, there's something to the story nobody told after all that separation, division, and how people would mitigate and came together. Now people all spread out. You looked at that one with Kamala Harris when she visited the abortion clinic, and you got that one black, I'm gonna say black, African American, whatever you want to call them, whatever made up name, standing there with a blue suit just like this. If he didn't look like Token off of South Park in Colorado, I swear for goodness. Anyway. We want to keep this G-rated. You know what I'm saying? They got enough of them. It's like that, like I said before, that judge in New York. Lock that brother up. She's a foreigner. Y'all aware of that? And thank goodness Rondo did somebody. He took one of me talking about that incident. And I didn't want to say nothing. He did the research, which was a magnificent, magnificent job, mind you. So anyway, let's get into Heaven Bearers, The New Age of Deception by Janine Helen. I saw that. He's like, hey, Minister Frame, what's going on, beloved? What's happening? What's happening? Oh, okay, that's what's up, Scott. Yeah, hit him up, man. Respond. Let's get this going. Let's get this. Heaven Bearers, The New Age of Deception. Book 2 of 3. We already went through Heaven Bearers, the first one. The Great Reset of 1834 and the Mud Flood. But now we're getting to a certain position where you start seeing a more fluid like explanation, and then gathering on the basis of deception. Well, what's the deception? I'm not here to say. So Janine Helen's not there, but you know what those trees are, right? They're not really trees, they're saplings. As big as you think they are, they're small compared to the trees of old. So we're in part 1. Imagination is the beginning of creation. What is imagination? Is it the process of thought? They say daydreaming, night dreaming, REM sleeping. What is it? Can't you do that while you're awake? Isn't that what meditation is? Because when you sleep, you don't actually sleep, you slumber. That means you're in between two places, right? And what you're seeing may be reminiscent to something that may have happened or from an ancestor, for us to use, for lack of a better term, somebody of the past or before, and maybe even of the future. Just remember that, okay? So, imagination, the beginning of creation. It's magnificent, beautiful stuff when you think about it. Chapter 1. Let me put on my Heaven Bearer hat. She's in some kind of trance. I don't see what else it could be. He clenches his jaw and looks down at his feet, then reluctantly makes eye contact. He knows full well who he is dealing with, and he doesn't want to ignite his temper. Her vitals are normal, and she is breathing on her own. Her pupils are dilated, and it is clear she's awake. She's even responsive, but she isn't here. His expression fills in the blanks. where his words would not suffice. What exactly do you mean by that healer? How can she not be here and be alive at the same time? That doesn't make any logical or universal sense. Malcolm asked politely, being careful not to raise his voice and take out his frustration on the healer. He is well aware that nothing the last few months has been normal, but someone ought to have some kind of explanation as to what is happening. It has been almost 2 weeks and no one has managed to even make up some kind of story that will relieve his frustration and pain. It's funny how when I was growing up, we didn't have medicine people, we had healers. And then all of a sudden, when I got to about 10 or 12 years old, bam, it was the RXs, the barber shops. You know what I'm saying? Go get your alum, get your drink. Let's get a little poke in the arm, a little bloodletting. I'm just saying, y'all. The process has been bad. If she isn't here, we have to draw the conclusion that she must be dead, comatose, or something of that source in between. He isn't speaking to the healer, nor are his words forming a question. His eyes fixed on her body, lying dead still on the bed, frozen in time. To be honest, Malcolm, there isn't much more we can do. We have run every test that I can think of, that even my colleagues can think of. And quite frankly, I don't believe that her ailment is physical. If I had to guess, and I can assure you, I find no pleasure in guessing under these circumstances, but I'd have to say that in my opinion, she is lost in her spiritual state. Wouldn't that be spirit walking? Skin walking? People think skin walking means something that transfigures, right? Imagine being your skin and walking outside of it. That's all I'm going to say, though, right there. We're going to leave that for the story. I know you're like, what kind of story you got to tell? One that will explain a lot. Go ahead, Papa. Okay? That would explain why she is physically, but not consciously present. He grabs his pen from his pocket and gently pokes the top of her left arm carefully as to expect some kind of reaction. There is no reaction. The question is simple, but where to find the answer, I really cannot say. The spiritual state must manifest itself somewhere, and that is what we need to figure out. He pauses and takes his eyes away from Malcolm and glances over at Bonnie. Unless she can figure out a way to reconnect with her physical body. He mutters under his breath, now emphasizing the lack of hope, and he has in the latter possibility, just like a plug connecting to a wall socket. He continues, but can feel the tension rise between them and doesn't finish his sentence. Malcolm directs his stare at the healer, trying to control the intensity of their green color, revealing his anger and disgust at the situation, and then out of nowhere, his tense lips from a soft smile of admiration. He didn't expect that answer from him, and he wasn't quite sure if he was content with it. But finally, after weeks of different healers examining Bonnie like a lab rat, someone has an opinion rather than the typical "I don't know" answer he is constantly given. This was the easiest answer to give, a type of a cope, or a cop-out, a coping or cop-out, as far was Malcolm to be concerned. Yes, they didn't know, but none of them even bothered to try and know. After all, science, including medicine, is always evolving. There is a book in the Great Library. The Great Library, I haven't heard that in a long time. I've spoken to the head librarian, and she has confirmed that the sample I sent her matches the writing in the book. There must be a connection to it, but I caution you not to get your hopes up. There is much. What in the world is this thing doing now? There is much we don't understand, and I fear we won't understand it nearly as quickly as we might like to. There is a soft knock on the door, and it breaks the awkward uncertainty in the air, something both Malcolm and the healer are grateful for. Malcolm Malcolm can be so intense even if he doesn't mean to be. It's his eyes. My apologies, healer, but you are needed in surgery shortly, reminds the elderly nurse with a plain and uninviting smile. She doesn't make eye contact with Malcolm, and upon conclusion of her task of summoning the healer, she departs as quickly as she appeared. Malcolm immediately feels his body tense up at the thought of the doctor leaving and not doing anything more for Bonnie. Not only is she his wife, but she is their queen. He balls his hands into a fist and clenches his jaw, resisting the urge to lose his temper. Sounds like me, boy, back in the day. Holy smack. And probably a lot of you. You are just going to leave, he snaps, only to rein in his anger and attempts to start again. He takes a long and deep breath. What do I do now? He finishes the sentence in defeat. He really hoped they could find a solution to the problem, find something that could lead them to the next puzzle piece. His hopes were dashed and they cut deep. He finally found a healer that actually had an opinion, but in reality, nothing had changed. There was nothing they could do for her, and he couldn't accept this as fact. I'm sorry, Malcolm, but that is all we can do today. He carefully moves his hand and rests it on Malcolm's left shoulder, and giving it a comforting squeeze. We will figure it out. Of that, I am sure, but it won't be today. Take comfort in the fact that she doesn't seem to be in any pain. Oh, I detest when they say that. He gives him another pressuring smile and hurries out the door and disappears down the long hallway. Malcolm sits down on the chair next to the healing bed and glances over, it must not be that much of a healing bed, glances over at Bonnie, just staring at her lifeless body. Instinctively, and as a sign of utter defeat, he leans forward and places his head against the palms of his hands and rubs them over his face firmly. He has so much rage and anger in him that if it wasn't for civility, he would tear this place down. Bonnie has awoken this feeling in him, and it has allowed him to care. But he is still a Phoenician, and there will always be more evil in him than good. It is his genetic makeup, the way nature had intended. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a cliffhanger. With a very poignant end, isn't it? Y'all know I'm a devil for, y'all know how I am about certain things. And tell me, please do. Let me see. Did I put that? That's my ex-wife. I believe she is no longer here. I have a picture of her. This is a ex-wife, ex-fiance. Donna M. Davis, Jamaica, Queens, New York. Yeah, people who matter to me, I keep. I mean, people who may no longer be here, or it's very important, or in a situation that is beyond the scope of people's understanding. And I just wanted to share that because I don't know if you ever see it drop out when I open the book, but that's one of the things, because she was very educated, loved reading, and that's one of the things that we will marshal on, and is a magnificent individual. So I hope that was a good reading. It's pretty wild, isn't it? Always remember, never argue with people who don't know the truth of history. And if they did, and they say that they're ancestors, then they should know the world they live in. And not only these buildings here, but they were all throughout South America. And they destroyed those in the most worst and heinous way. And then they've incorporated them into their fake religions they brought here to these lands. Now, and I speak on facts. I don't speak on some made-up narrative. I've been to many of them. Some they even tried to say I couldn't go to. I was like, are you crazy? You can try that whitewash stuff, and then the brothers and sisters will come out of nowhere. And they will walk me through those uplifted grave sites where our people are buried. And then there are people buried on top of ours, and they will point these things out. That's why they built those walls, these so-called conquistadors, these gujars, especially in Mexico, the island of Mexico. You know, that's right, the island of Mexico, where the emperor, Gujar, established the reign over his people who they believe conquered the land and destroyed so much. And now you have a remnant from the women who birthed in a new nation of existence and people who are very ignorant to the fact that we're still here. Not all, but many. What was that? Yes, yes. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed that reading. I really do. I didn't. I'm gonna wait till 5 o'clock, and then we'll just. I'm not gonna check the thing to see if y'all donate or not. All the notifications are off for it, except for I think I still get a TikTok donation notification, which I don't care. I went over there and did a video on TikTok out, and I told them you could take this app because I don't care about none of these apps or platforms. Y'all need to know that. I really was on Facebook to tell a story, and people were asking me questions, and I informed them of things, and their ego got stroked, and they went on about creating a narrative, and they don't know nothing. That's what happens to a lot of people in this time and age. Instead of sticking the route, instead of coming over here sneaking and looking and running back like they got new information, this is the disease of our people not knowing that it belongs to all of us. You know what I'm saying? And then they go, okay, well, Red, he does know his genealogy, man. I got pictures now. Of course, I've always known it. Why would I not? What was surprising was my ignorance to believe or to think. Man, at the time, believe. I'll use that to be structured. That way you can have a deeper understanding based on some false core values. I thought everybody knew. When I was in school, we didn't ever recognize and identify as no Africans. We had a couple people come from New York, a couple of goofies that went to our school, and they brought that black, red, and green flag. Just the dumbest thing I ever seen. Printed in, was it Taiwan? Printed in some Asian country, these flags were. And the Black Panther movement, that wasn't African. They wasn't with the liberation, the Lebanese, which called arm. They didn't recognize them, even though most of that was created from listen, you'd be surprised how many gangs were created and movements were created by the FBI. You ain't got to believe me. I really don't care. Look, my father was a Chickasaw, Vietnam vet, who, after robbing banks with Van Long Gang, going to Rikers and a few other places, big old motherfucker, right? At the time, was of the Black Panther movement. That's how I started going to it. I wasn't a religious person, though they named me brother from Atrinia, whatever that place is called, named me Caliph. And then when I learned what the word meant, I was like, okay, well, I didn't see where it befitted. But because of the things I knew and the stories I told, then I came to these people talking about Morocco, and I said, wait a minute. I get the narrative. But I was somebody that served with people from Morocco who bypassed the green card to become American citizens. And they used to laugh at all these guys with their fezzes and everything, saying, okay, so I guess they're foreigners to your land. They say, Petio's a branch, so I guess some guys are foreigners to your land. That's how they act. And then whenever I would come across them and we have this conversation, I say, well, it's no problem if you're part of that existence. But here in the old world, we had every place. But it wasn't named. It was like what you would see in Africa, because Africa didn't really exist that way. Wulan didn't exist that way. And mostly that place wasn't as melanated as it is today. That was the first place where people fled to, and the first segregation from all the fake Europe countries. In that place of North Africa, why is it that people don't ever look at a map and pay attention that all that, Italy, all that above it is part of Ethiopia, which was part of Wulan. I forgot how to pronounce it. It's been a long time because I don't, want to stay with people's concurrent narratives. Yet I do like to go back to the truth of existence before that, all the way up to Atlantis, which people have a hard time accepting, as if these monkeys could create that narrative. And based upon our construction and the Colosseums and things that we built, because we had a Colosseum here that was bigger than the one over there that even was subjugated to the war that nobody knows about because people don't study warfare, and the fact that we've been having wars nonstop since these bastards got themselves in position. And it's to usher in things that exists that have been locked away for a long time, that has been creeping into people's dreams, and people tampering and with these mantras and these sutras, messing with things unknowingly because of this curriculum, which guides them to do things. It gives energy to something you should not know, you should never play with. And because none of you want to learn another language or work to create your own language, here you go, and you want to play with and dabble with these religions you've been falsely nurtured into, that raises you instead of rising you. That's why I say it's important to change the narrative, even in this language, to say grand or great, ascension. We have to get away from their narrative. I studied law, and I still study it for over 12 years. And I know there are more than 2 languages being spoken, and one was created so you can help them give energy and usher in the very things that haven't really been unleashed or haven't fully arrived. And let me tell you, none of you are in the state to fight back. They got you weak, your hearts are weak, you've aged, testosterone, your estrogen levels are jacked, all messed up, lowered. You can't make heads or tail. And somebody, like I told you the other day, remember I said, somebody said, why are you wearing Nike? I said, that punk God, you think I'm worried about that? That's not a God. That is the opposite of what you are. I said, it's funny how nobody knows anything, but they put it all outside themselves in this hemisphere of nothing. It is to dispel your truth and give energy to the things that are going to come here that you think is a lie, because it's not practical, it's not physical, it's not tangible, but you're tangible, and yet you dismiss yourself. And yet when they come, or when they arrive, we'll see. Yeah, legalize, yes, legalize or legalese. And there's other languages involved. But that's a whole nother dynamic. It's hard enough for most people to accept the terms of legalese. They'll come and flee. They'll come and be like, and they think, what's the worst thing? People think they know everything. They let's say this is everything, right? This is hypothetically, or more. This is what they know. And they walk around with their head so big, or not even head. This is what they know. And they swear they know everything. That's pretty pathetic. When they carry on, and this is the beneath factor. This is the sense of wanting to be illuminated so that they can arise. But they don't want to ascend, so they stay right there. So how can they arise to the occasion so they can ascend? They're stuck in this vernacular of back and forth and this, that. And they argue with people who don't know shit. And it's the funniest thing. And I go and rent space in their head, and I enjoy it. I always let people know I don't know nothing. But what I do know, what information I have, I share it. You know what I'm saying? And it's bothersome. And people should, and that's why I say it's important for people to get rid of their emotions and their feelings. They need to move beyond. You know what I'm saying? And in order to move beyond, they have to take that step. I detest this word faith. But then again, we can utilize it to our benefit. They have to take that leap. No, don't jump. Take a step of faith. I was going to take the term is take a leap of faith. That's dumb. Why I'm going to jump somewhere where there ain't no floor? Take a step. Get when you go to the pool and the water cold and you put your tippy toe in there. Ooh, child. And then everybody does this anyway, and jumps in because they know it's going to be over once they get into it. You know what I mean? I just walk into it. 58-degree temperature, 48-degree temperature. During the wintertime, going out the wild week to get that cold water shock to the system. I always say if it hits me and my heart stops, well, at least I'm in the water. I'm out here with all the dead people's ashes from other countries. I'll be right in fitting. So I walk right out in there. I take this and put the camera up. I got 3 recordings this winter of me walking out in the cold water. Nipples getting hard. Thing to suck up in me. I'm with my sweatpants, with my shorts on. I'm one-eyed. I'm looking like a zombie or something from, Vincent Price. You know what I'm saying? Boris Karloff walking. He like just put some bandages around me in the water, and there's nobody to see me, and I'm just whoa, and I'm doing yes, me who likes to take cold showers. That water's cold out there, boy, and it's big. So I'm walking out there, and it plays on the sacroiliac. So I'm walking out there, and I got videos, toes curling up like they want to cramp. And by the time I get done after my 5-10 minute, and now play it off, I'm thinking I'm like Joe Rogan or Win Hof. And I come out there, I'm hot, I'm sweating. It's about 38, 40 degrees outside. The water 48, water warmer than outside. And I'm walking up, and there's always that one person up there. She was a sight for 4 hours. And who the is you? Well, you stayed in that cold water that long. I said, why don't you give it a try? Want me to record you? No. Then everything changes. Didn't even come down to see if I was all right. I might have been frozen. A bobbing popsicle looking like the stick. Come on. I appreciate y'all. It's nothing but love. It's nothing but eternal bond. I detest that word love. I really do. But we're eternally bonded, and people need to really start scoping in on that. And I appreciate y'all. I'm going to get my beach chair, going out in the back on my patio, sit out in the sun, and try and get about 20, 30 minutes of it. And I'll see y'all 5 o'clock. Then we get into 100 Years of Lynching, the Negro Project, Margaret Stanker, and our brother Will Cooper. Behold a pale horse. I don't know if there's any sisters in here, but it's always the same, and 2 brothers and 1. See y'all at 5.